Operation Phantom Fury began on November 7, 2004 as part of a joint U.S. Iraqi offensive to recapture Fallujah, a stronghold of insurgents in Al-Anbar province. The city had become a no-go zone, fortified with roadside bombs, booby-trapped houses, and heavily armed fighters from groups like Al-Qaeda in Iraq, led by Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. The operation involved U.S. Marines, Army units, Navy SEALs, and Iraqi Special Forces attacking from the north. The heaviest fighting fell on battalions like the 3rd Battalion, the 1st Marines, 3-1, tasked with pushing deep into the heart of Fallujah's western Jolan district, a known insurgent haven. This is the story of what happened on the ground, seen through the eyes of one rifleman, as the city descended into hell. We were just a few blocks away from the breach point. We could hear the distant rumble of artillery hitting the city, steady and cold. Mortar fire echoed off the broken buildings like drums before a storm. Our squad, 2nd Squad Charlie Company, was lined up behind a sand berm. Faces painted up, helmets low, weapons loaded. 12 of us, that's all. 12 guys about to walk into a city crawling with over 3,000 dug-in fighters. I was Lance Corporal David Reyes, rifleman, 25 years old. Been in country 6 months. This was my first urban assault, and I won't lie, I was scared as hell. Sergeant Wilcox was our team leader. Thick Georgia accent, always calm even when he wasn't. Beside him was Doc Brennan, our corpsman, tapping his med pouch over and over like a nervous tick. "Breach in 10!" our lieutenant called out through the radio. I looked to my left. Corporal Riley, my fire team leader, gave me a nod. That small, silent look that said, "We're doing this. Stay tight, don't freeze up." I gripped my M16 like it was a lifeline. The combat engineers ahead of us fired the Bangalore torpedoes and shaped charges into the earthen barrier at the city's edge. Dust shot up, loud, hard, fast. Then came the call, "Breach open, move!" We charged through the gap, into Fallujah. The smell hit first. Burnt rubber, sewage, metal, gunpowder. Like the whole city was rotting from the inside. We advanced building to building, stepping over rubble, scanning rooftops, windows, doors. Our orders were clear and hold. No hesitation, every house was a potential kill box. We entered the first house. Sandbags inside the windows, spent shell casings on the floor. Someone had used it recently, but no one was there. Next building over, our luck ended. As we moved, 2 insurgents opened fire from a rooftop with PKM machine guns. The sound was deafening, high-pitched and relentless. Bullets tore into the wall inches above my head. Riley dragged me behind a truck chassis as Lance Corporal Green returned fire with his saw. "Second floor, left window!" Green shouted. I popped up and let out 3 shots, hit one in the chest. He crumpled. The second guy vanished. We pushed forward into a tight alleyway. Doors everywhere. Shadows moving. Sergeant Wilcox called it, "Stack on the right. Clear that building." We lined up. Riley kicked the door in, and a booby trap exploded. Boom! The concussion knocked me back against the opposite wall. My ears rang. Dust filled the air. Riley was on the floor, legs torn up, screaming. Doc Brennan was already pulling out bandages. "Tourniquet! Tourniquet now!" he yelled. We held the hallway while he worked, hearts pounding. That was our first casualty, but not our last. We tried pushing down another street, but the road was blocked by burned-out vehicles and IED wires running across. We stopped, waited for EOD, but time wasn't on our side. Rounds began cracking from the 3rd floor of a nearby building. Private Ellison got hit in the side, went down yelling. I dragged him behind a wall while Green laid suppressing fire. That's when I noticed something behind us. 3 shadows creeping along the rooftops, flanking us. "Top right! Rear!" I screamed. We turned and engaged. I dropped one. Another vanished over the ledge. We were being hunted, and it was only day one. By 2100 hours, we had cleared 5 city blocks and set up a temporary stronghold in a reinforced home. We sandbagged the windows, set up claymores at the doorways, rotated guard. No one spoke much. Riley had been medevaced. Ellison was alive, but barely. We were down to 9 guys, and it was just the first night. We didn't sleep much. After clearing that first stronghold the night before, we held the building in shifts. We could hear them outside, voices in Arabic, footsteps echoing through alleyways. Insurgents weren't sleeping either. Somewhere past midnight, we heard sporadic gunfire to the east. Another Marine unit, probably 1-8 or 3-5s, was in contact. The whole city was lit up. I sat by a blown-out window with my rifle resting on the sill. Sergeant Wilcox was pacing behind me, whispering into the radio. At 0500 hours, we got our new orders. Advance 2 blocks south. Clear sectors Bravo 6 and Bravo 7. Expect resistance. Roe, PID before engaging. We knew what that meant. We stepped off just before dawn. The sun was low, casting long shadows down shattered streets. Our boots crunched over glass and twisted metal. Every doorway was a threat. Every rooftop a death trap. 9 of us left that house. Charlie Company was pushing alongside us in parallel lanes, house after house, room by room. At the end of an alley, we entered a walled courtyard. Quiet, too quiet. Wilcox raised a fist. Stop, but too late. Suddenly, 2 RPGs flew in from a second-story balcony ahead. The explosions shook the ground. Shrapnel sliced through air. Corporal Mason took it in the chest. His flak vest caught most of it, but he went down hard. We dove behind a crumbled wall. Dust, smoke, yelling. Contact, 2 o'clock, 2nd floor! Green laid down suppressing fire with the saw. I saw the flash of a muzzle and fired 3 rounds. Hit, maybe? Wilcox was barking orders. Ray is done! Flank right, take that door! We sprinted to a side entrance, stacked up, kicked it in. The inside was chaos. Broken furniture, a corpse by the stairs with a rifle in his lap. We moved fast. Up the stairs, Reyes first, Dunn behind. As I turned the corner, a man burst from the room, AK in hand. He raised it. I fired. He collapsed at my feet. We secured the floor, radioed in, building clear, 1 enemy KIA. Mason was groaning. Doc Brennan had his shirt off, patching a deep slice across his ribs. We exfilled, carrying Mason out, leaving a flare behind for Cassavac. Down to 8 left from the squad. By midday, we were clearing a narrow house, long hallway, 3 rooms off each side. I opened the 3rd door, stopped. There were wires running under the bed. Riley's voice echoed in my memory. Booby traps always look ordinary. I froze. Wilcox, I think this room's wired. He came over, peeked in. Yeah, back off. Let's mark this one for EOD. We sprayed a big red X on the door and kept moving. 2 houses later, we weren't so lucky. Private Collins stepped into a living room and the floor gave out. A low boom. Not enough to kill, but enough to maim. The trap was under a rug, rigged to a pressure plate. Collins lost part of his foot. He was screaming, blood everywhere. We pulled him back, secured the house, called in a medevac. 2nd case vac today. Now we were down to 7 guys. Late afternoon, we came to a 2-story home. Larger, almost untouched from the outside. Unusual for this area. Wilcox was suspicious. We entered carefully, no signs of movement, but everything was perfect. Cushions placed neatly, no bullet holes, no burn marks, dishes still on the table. They're baiting us, Dunn whispered. Suddenly, shots rang out from upstairs. 1 round tore through the stair rail and hit PFC Martin in the neck. He dropped before we could react. We flooded the 2nd floor. Grenades, flashbangs, full violence. 3 insurgents were holed up in the back bedroom. They died in place. But so did Martin, another brother down. We took that house and made it ours. reinforced windows with sandbags, cleared the bodies, sealed the doors. Only 6 of us now. We set watches. 8 cold MREs. No one spoke. I sat on the roof with my rifle and looked out over the city. Fallujah was still burning, fires in the distance, tracer rounds arcing through the night. I remember thinking, we've only taken a few blocks. How many more of these are left? I didn't sleep that night. None of us did. We had 6 men left. 3 days into the assault and we'd already lost half the squad. Mason and Collins were evac'd. Martin and Riley didn't make it. The rest of us, me, Sergeant Wilcox, Green, Doc Brennan, Dunn, and Private Slater, were holding on but barely. The house we secured the night before still smelled like blood and sulfur. But we were too tired to notice anymore. Over the radio, HQ ordered us to push another 2 blocks east. Clear and hold. Expect elevated resistance. They know you're coming. We moved street to street, building to building. Fallujah wasn't a city anymore. It was a maze of traps and killers. We passed the carcass of a burned-out Humvee, one of ours, scorched black. The turret was melted. A helmet still lay beside it. No bodies, just silence. We turned the corner toward our new objective, a 3-story complex at the end of an alley, when the first RPG screamed out from the rooftop. It hit the building behind us. We dropped flat. Then the machine guns opened up. RPK fire raked the alley. Walls spit chips of concrete. We scrambled behind a crumbled wall. "Pinned!" Wilcox shouted. "They've got high ground!" We were stuck. There was no easy way forward, no safe way back. Dunn tried calling it in. "This is Charlie 2-6. Taking fire, pinned." The radio hissed. Then nothing. Jammers. They'd knocked out comms. We were cut off. We rushed into a nearby building, a single story, windows blown out. It was better than nothing. Inside, we found an old living room with broken furniture and spent casings on the floor. This place had been used before. We set up security. Covered the doors, got low. They were coming. We could feel it. A presence outside. Voices. Footsteps. Clicks of weapons being loaded. "We hold this house," Wilcox said. "No matter what. This is our Alamo." The first wave hit just after 800. 2 insurgents kicked the front door. Green cut them down with the saw. Grenade rolled in through the window. I dove on it, grabbed, threw it back. It exploded midair. Shrapnel still hit the wall and carved into my arm. Nothing deep, just burned. We heard more boots outside. Then another barrage of AK fire slammed into the outer wall. Doc Brennan dragged a mattress in front of the window as a shield. Slater was shaking. 18 years old, first deployment. "They're not gonna stop," he whispered. "Neither are we," I said. By 1,000 hours, they were inside the house next door. We could hear them moving through the walls. We shifted to the rear of the house. Dunn fired a 203 grenade into the adjacent building. The blast shook the floor. More screams. More gunfire, then silence. Suddenly, one of the rear doors creaked open. A man stepped in, AK raised. I shot him twice in the chest. He dropped, but not before his finger squeezed the trigger. Rounds stitched the ceiling. One clipped Brennan in the thigh. "I'm good," Doc gasped. "Keep going!" Wilcox pulled Brennan behind a flipped table. I swear we were being tested, not just ambushed. Hunted, like they knew our playbook. We had low ammo. Green had maybe 40 rounds left for the saw. I had 1 mag in my vest. Slater had 2. Wilcox was down to bursts. We needed to move. Staying meant dying. We punch out the back, flank west, get to higher ground, Wilcox decided. But what if the alley's mined? Dunn asked. Then we hope to God we don't step wrong. At 12:30 hours, we made our move. We stacked on the back door. Wilcox kicked it open. No blast. We rushed into the alley, quiet, and turned down a side street. Then the gunfire erupted from the second floor. Wilcox went down immediately. 2 rounds to the vest, 1 to the neck. I grabbed his arm, pulled, but his eyes were already fading. We dragged him behind a dumpster. Doc checked. He's gone. Green wanted to go back, but I stopped him. He got us out. We move, and we did. We slipped into a small grocery store 2 blocks away. Shelves half full, cold drinks still in a cracked fridge. Blood smeared near the register. We barred the door. Stacked crates. Doc patched his leg with trembling hands. Green cleaned the saw. Slater cried quietly in a corner. We were 5 left now, cut off, surrounded, but still breathing. We'd been holed up for over an hour. The fighting outside had dulled, but that was worse. It meant they were regrouping, setting traps, maybe encircling us. 5 Marines left. Me, Doc Brennan bleeding but standing. Dunn, and Slater, the youngest, now hardened by 72 hours of death. Sergeant Wilcox was gone. His body was 2 blocks behind us. We couldn't go back. Couldn't even call it in. Radios were still jammed. We make this place ours, I told them, so we did. We flipped metal shelves and packed canned goods behind windows as makeshift barriers. The freezer door became a shield against the back entrance. Slater found some duct tape and wrapped it around Doc's thigh to stop the bleeding. Green set the saw by the front window. I took a position on the roof with binoculars, watching movement through the hazy, dust-filled air. Nothing yet, but the silence meant trouble. At 14:45 hours, I spotted them, 4 figures darting between buildings. Then more. 10. 15. They weren't charging. They were surrounding us. They're closing in, I said, dropping back inside. How many? Green asked. Too many. We loaded everything we had. I had 1 mag. Dunn had 2. Green fed a fresh belt into the saw. Slater held a frag grenade in one hand, trembling. Doc picked up Wilcox's old M4. His own weapon lost back at the trap house. "Let's give 'em hell," he said. At exactly 15:02 hours, the first shot broke the silence, a crack from a sniper that shattered the front window. We ducked. Green returned fire with short bursts. "Suppressive!" he yelled. "They're stacking up!" They hit us from 3 sides, front, alley, and rear. Coordinated smart. We rotated fire positions, every man moving, shooting, reloading. They tossed a frag through the back. Slater dove and kicked it toward the freezer. It blew, denting the metal, but no casualties. Seconds later, they charged the front. They tried breaching the door. Dunn fired through the crack, dropped one. Another burst from Green lit up the front. The door splintered but held. We pulled a shelf across it, reinforced with cement bags. Doc was hit again, grazing round through his left shoulder. He still fought, still moved. "They won't stop," he said. "They're gonna burn us out." I knew he was right. At 15:30 hours, we heard gasoline sloshing. "They're gonna torch it," I said. I grabbed a frag and tossed it out the side window. Screams, 1 down, maybe more, but the smell of fuel filled the store. Green climbed to the roof, fired 1 long burst at the crowd gathering in the alley, then silence. "They're pulling back," he said. "Why would they?" Then we heard it, a rumble in the distance. Over the rooftops came a UH-1Y Venom, fast, low, and angry. Behind it, a platoon of Marines from Echo Company storming block by block. Green waved his helmet from the roof. Rounds cracked past him, but the chopper spotted us. "Charlie 2-6, we see you. Sit tight. Reinforcements inbound." We exhaled for the first time in hours. Within minutes, Echo's lead element breached the alley and entered the store. A young corporal with Parks stitched on his vest tapped my shoulder. "You boys just made history," he said. "We were evac'd with the wounded. Doc and Green needed surgery." Slater couldn't stop shaking. Dunn had burn marks from the grenade. I sat on the tailgate of a Humvee, dust in my mouth, rifle across my lap. Fallujah was still burning. But we'd made it. 5 of us walked in that store. 5 of us walked out. Wilcox didn't. Martin didn't. But their fight, their sacrifice, bought the ground we stood on.